Here's what you should know about your local housing market in this week's Market Update. This morning you have the pleasure of seeing daylight behind me. That is not due to daylight savings time. That is due to teachers convention. Normally I get up super early on Fridays to shoot these videos and get home before the kids wake up to get them ready and get them on the bus. But thanks to a teachers convention, they are not at school today. I'm not dealing with bus pickup. They are off having fun doing other things. So the real estate market. Did you know, in case you missed it, there was an election this week. So you'd be living under a rock if you didn't, if you weren't fully aware of the election. What does that mean for housing prices? Where, the outcome of the election, how is that going to affect our housing prices? Most likely that's going to cause housing prices to go up. Doesn't really have much to do with who won, who lost. That is not likely to have a huge impact on housing prices. But the last 7 out of the last 8 elections, we saw housing prices go up after the election. The only one we saw housing prices go down, and they went down slightly, was back in 2008. And if you're familiar with the goings on of 2008, that should not be surprising. We saw all kinds of turmoil in the housing and stock markets. But so housing prices are projected to go up. Without getting too nitty-gritty detail-y, why are housing prices projected to go up? Well, in real estate, as with a lot of industries, we see a lot of people hold off on making decisions leading up to an election. I'm not only dealing with real estate, but dealing with a lot of corporate executives. They will tell you, yes, we want a leader, and we want an environment that is in favor of, presents a favorable set of rules and guidelines and conditions for us. However, the worst condition that we could possibly have is uncertainty, and an impending election gives us a lot of uncertainty. If we know what we're dealing with, then we can react to it. So whether you see the outcome of this election as a good thing or a bad thing, I can assure you that having the election behind us is certainly a good thing for people getting moving, making decisions, and getting the market acting the way that it should be. So I would expect to see housing prices increase. We also have another Fed meeting scheduled. We are anticipating that the Fed will lower the Fed funds rate. That being said, I do not expect to see that affect mortgage rates. Because that is expected, most of the mortgage rates that you will see are already factoring that in. So as we spoke with the last Fed meeting, the only thing that would likely cause interest rates to change after that meeting is 2 things. Number one, if the rate change is significantly different than what is anticipated. And number 2, the comments that they make when they make that change. So when they make an adjustment to the Fed funds rate, afterwards they make a ton of comments about what they are anticipating going forward. And those have potentially an even stronger effect because, like we said, we have the mortgage market has anticipated what's going to happen in the next meeting that is coming up. Really, what mostly they're looking for is an indicator of what will happen following the following meeting. So don't expect mortgage rates to change a whole bunch. They've gone up actually since the last Fed meeting. So don't expect the Fed to magically lower mortgage rates, and do expect home prices to continue to rise. We are continuing to see a competitive housing market. The frenzy has worn off. The bidding wars have died down, but the housing prices still remain strong. So don't expect to see deals happening, but do expect that the way you go about it will change. So if you're selling a home, don't price for that bidding war. Don't be surprised if you only get one offer, but do expect that offer to be strong. But price your home accordingly for that environment. And that's something I'm really strongly helping my sellers with, and buyers as well, with navigating. Some houses are going to have bidding wars and some don't, and you really need to be on top of things to be able to decipher which is which. So that being said, let's get into the stats this week. This week we saw only 3 homes come on the market. 3 of those were in town. None of those homes were in township. No single family homes were listed. We saw 3 townhouses come on the market. And the average list price of these homes was only $505,000. I would probably give it a, while the inventory has been light, I would say a lot of that has to do with the election. Let's see what happens next week. I feel like a lot of people probably didn't want to put a house on the market during election week, understandably so. Total inventory remains steady with last week at a low number of 53 homes actively on the market. I anticipate the number will remain low and possibly get even lower. We are in November now, beginning of November. We are starting to make our Thanksgiving plans. I'm even seeing some houses with Christmas decorations up already. And what that tells me is as we get into holidays, people tend to quiet down their home activity. The discretionary moves are usually less. You see a lot more of the home sales having to do with more urgent life needs as we get into the winter. On top of that, I see it across the board in our consumer behavior. Everybody's looking for perfect. You go out to eat, you can't just pick a restaurant. You have to find the best restaurant. Everybody's searching for perfect, and I feel like we're seeing that more and more in our seasonality. I'm speaking with a lot of sellers, and a lot of my colleagues are as well, that are prepping their homes, already know they're going to put it on the market, and are prepping it for spring because everybody hears about this spring housing market being the best time to sell a house. I'm here to tell you, if you're thinking of selling, let's definitely have a conversation. It might be the best time. It might make sense to wait till spring. And if that is, we should start preparing now rather than wait till spring and miss the mark. And it might not be. You might be waiting needlessly. There are other factors at play that might make now a much better time for you to sell than the springtime. Sold homes. We saw 5 homes sell this past week. Average list price of these homes was $1,024,000, and average sale price of these homes was $1,021,000. So this past week, homes sold for right around the list price, and they were on the market for an average of 14 days. Once again, home prices, I'm expecting to see that continue to rise. Most of the homes I'm seeing are going above list price, but don't be surprised to see that number starting to hover around 100% of list price, and possibly even in the near future seeing homes selling below list price. That should not be an indication that the housing prices are coming down. It simply means that the frenzy is dying down. If a home is priced aggressively and gets one offer at or slightly below list price, that does not mean housing prices are coming down. That simply means that the way the transaction is playing out has changed. So don't take that necessarily as an indicator of decrease in home prices and home values. Under contract, 5 homes went under contract this past week. Average list price of those homes was $653,000. Median days on market for those homes was 27 days, which is not surprising because we didn't see many homes come on the market. So if homes are going to go under contract, they've got to be on at least a week because there was nothing new this week. So that's what we have for this week. I'm looking forward to next week to see as we return to some normalcy post-election. So thanks for checking in with me, and I look forward to checking in with you again next week.